The river and the mountain. Imagine that every person is swimming in this seemingly endless river. Everybody keeps swimming because that is what everybody else does, and swimming down the river is seen as good in the eyes of everyone. However, there are always some individuals that realize that swimming in the river is not what they really want to do for the rest of their lives. They look at the sights, unlike many others that never even take a peek, and they notice that there is land, grass, and even a mountain in the distance. They realize that they would love to be at the mountain or just on the land near the shoreline more than at the river. But they might be seen as the losers if they leave the river. The others who believe that swimming down that river forever is the way to go tend to see the few that leave the river as those who gave up or those who were wrong. Because of these stigmas, many swimmers that know they might like the other options better continue swimming, even if they don't like it, because it is what everybody does, so it must be what is best. Only the ones that are truly passionate about getting their feet on the land and on the mountain find the conviction to eventually leave the river, regardless of what anyone thinks of them. Some of them stay near the shore, however, because they don't want to feel too different. They think that being different may be a bad thing, and naturally, they also want to be able to still see the others. Those in the shore know they prefer the land, but they are still worried about what the others in the river will think of them. And they don't want to lose any friends, do they? Eventually, there come a few that go towards the mountain. These selected few don't stay frozen at the shore like many others. These guys or these girls don't fear what anyone says or thinks. They are the most passionate ones about this different route. And they are not afraid about being left alone, since it's pretty obvious that nearly everyone will leave those that don't follow the path of the river and the shoreline. The mountain, however, is full of perils and obstacles that even these brave individuals didn't imagine when they were in the river or when they looked at the mountain from the shoreline. Eventually, most give up or they return down due to fear of the imminent failure and because they start to realize that the mountain is hell. Reaching the top of that mountain is a really tough challenge that most of them had idealized. And for most, it wasn't what they thought it was going to be. The result was that for a long time, even the ones that were brave enough to go to the mountain didn't get to reach the top. One day, one very special day indeed, there came one who never looked back at what the people of the river would think and who was not worried about the challenges of the mountain either. Individuals like this one tend to be rare and hard to come by. He or she eventually made it to the top of the mountain despite all the terrible obstacles along the way. The few that were on land and near the shore could see him or her at the top of the mountain from far, far away, and they were truly amazed. Many of them were shocked. Some thought that he had to be crazy, that there was no other logical explanation in their minds. But many wanted to see him to find out how he did it, because there was a time when they also wanted to do it. Several people on the shoreline thought that there had to be some kind of trick involved. The rest of them just wanted to find out what he did so that they would be able to climb to the top of that terrible mountain as well. When this individual finally came back to the lower land and headed back to the shore, everyone there went to him and gathered around him to find out how it was done. They all asked, "How did you do it? What is your secret?" They could not wait to find out what sort of mystic magic this man had used to accomplish what he did. Then the man said it. "There is no secret." Everyone looked puzzled. They were convinced that since no one else had done it before and he did it, there had to be some kind of secret or magic involved. This was not the answer that they were expecting. "But there is no way. You have to know something. You have to have some secret. Otherwise, how do you do it? How did you manage to climb the mountain first if you don't know something that we've done?" The man answered, "I was following my path and my path was climbing the mountain. I did what I wanted to do." And then he added, "Nothing made me happier than climbing that mountain, so I climbed it." And he kept going. And the things along the way, those things that you call perils, were fun challenges that I enjoyed very much. It was very hard, but I won't lie. Climbing the mountain was interesting and enjoyable for me. I feel like I am a much better man because of it. Then the man turned back to the mountain and said, "Do you know what? I think I'm going to go back and climb it again." Everyone looked at him with a look of surprise on their faces. Climbing it again? Wasn't climbing it once hard enough? Wasn't it enough of a torture? The man smiled. "You guys and girls are right. I do have a secret that I haven't told you. When I reached the top of the mountain, I saw something that no one else has seen yet. I saw that there is another, bigger mountain on the other side of this world, but that side is only visible and reachable if you get to the top of this mountain here. From there, a new path opens to the second, bigger mountain on the new land there, and it is revealed to you. So I will climb this one here again, and I will go on to the second one on the other side. And if there is another one after that, I will climb that mountain too." The man couldn't contain the joy on his face as he said those words. It was obvious that he was very happy. Just from thinking about it, climbing mountains wasn't torture for him, it was a joy. The people looked at him and this time they really thought that he had to be crazy. For then, one mountain had been bad enough, so the idea of climbing several mountains sounded like real madness. They didn't understand that reaching the top of the mountain once wasn't the real goal of this rare individual. Being happy was his true goal, and climbing mountains was what made him happy. Therefore, he was the one capable of going after the first mountain and climbing it, despite all the unfavorable odds and all those obstacles along the way. What others saw as a terrible mountain or a torture, this one saw as happiness itself. That was why he was ready to climb another one, right after he was done with the first. And that was why he was the one that could climb the first mountain. Now, pick your ending. Great ending number 1. At the end, there was no secret involved, and definitely no magic. Climbing the mountain was what made that guy happy, and he went for it, and he continued doing it. It was meant to be from the very beginning. Great ending number 2. So, the man went back to his journey, but something very interesting happened. There were now people on the shore whose lives he had changed forever for the better. There were many that were now determined to find something that would give them the same great smile that this guy showed when he was ready to climb mountains. They had been inspired by him to find what made them very happy. Bad ending. Meanwhile, back at the river, the other 99% of humanity continued swimming, and most of them didn't even know that mountains existed, or that climbing them was very difficult for some and enjoyable for others. Unfortunately, the inspiration and the good deeds of this first man that climbed the first mountain were not going to reach them. That inspiration only touched some among the ones that could see him. And those that saw him were the people on the land only, who were just 1% of humankind.